here. If you watched any of my other videos when I was making things for some craft fairs, these are the things that I made. Basically what they are, let me move these two to the side here and show you. Basically what they are is they're little box type things, whatever you want to call them. And they hold things like gifts and things like that. So like this one would be a good size to put in some nail polish and a file and things like that. And I did fill these when I had them for the sale, and they went very well. This is a bigger one, and this one has some lotion and things like that in it. So that being said, let me just give you a quick rundown of how it goes. I'm not going to cut out a bunch of paper for you and show you all that. You already know that kind of thing. So what I started with was, and you probably know this also if you watched my videos, what I started with were, all right, I got to get these so you can see them. Maybe you can see this one better. How about that? These are French fry boxes. Yeah. French fry boxes from McDonald's. Now, this one here is the big one. And I made a few of them, and this is the size that they came out. If you make the big one, you've got to have a lot of stuff to fill them, so you might want to think twice about that. I believe the smaller size works a little bit better, so that would be the size right here. Okay, so when this is out of here, this is what you can see. All right. How I started was I took the French fry box and I used it as a pattern, and I cut it out in chipboard. So as you can see, this fits right on here. This is the chipboard. By making a template, I didn't have to keep going back. And I don't know if you can see them on here. I think you can. I'm going to hold them up a little bit. There's kind of a round circle, a half circle, and then there's a line. Okay, we'll get to that in 1 second. Basically, that's how your box is going to fold up. I found out by trial and error that by doing this, it didn't work very well to use chipboard all the time. So I tried using some heavy paper. Now, if your paper is really, really a heavy weight, you can probably do that without having any trouble. But I found that it was easier for me to cut out a piece of paper, not chipboard, but let me put it right here. Okay, just some plain paper, but the heavier weight cardstock. And I don't know what I'm doing here. Anyways, the cardstock. What I tried to do is to match the cardstock, and then I put paper on it that was the thin paper. You know, especially if those of you who have been scrapbooking for a while, you've got this really thin paper, and you've probably graduated to using larger paper or thicker paper now. I know I do. I don't use the thin stuff very much unless I'm going to line something. So after cutting this out, and I drew the pattern, of course, first using this template, cut that out. I also cut out paper for that, and then I cut out an extra piece, and I'll show you that in a moment. But by using the color coordinating paper, you can fit this on here, as you can see, like that. Actually, it's going to go like this. Yeah, it's going to go like this. Okay. So, and then your flaps are going to turn in. So in order to get your flaps ready to turn in, what I did was I laid this pattern on top of the paper after I'd cut it out, and I merely put some dots where I wanted to make the fold. So in other words, here are the rounded lines. I just kind of put a little mark there and a little mark here on each side. Then for this centerpiece, which is actually going to be a fold, I just marked a dot there. You're also going to be turning it in like this. So at this corner here, I put a dot, and I did the same thing on this side. That's just a guide for me. And here's how it worked. When I got to, after I put the dots on, then I took the piece of paper and put it onto my board like so. I found out where this little dot was right here, and I scored it along that line. I also went over to the other side. I found the dot, here it is, and I scored it. I then turned it this way, and you can score this any way you want, but this is a tiny scoreboard. Here are my two, this is my center fold, here it is, and score it. All right, you don't have to do that with the paper because the paper is very, very flexible. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, let me move this out of the way, you're going to want to glue your paper to your cardstock. Now, whatever glue you use is strictly up to you. Everybody uses something different. I use a liquid like tacky glue only because I think I can get a very full covering of it. Now, here comes the part where we did the turning. Let me just turn, oops, I'm dropping everything here. Let me turn this over. All right, so now we got this on here. Let's pretend that it's glued. We're going to fold that in. I'm going to fold that in. And we're going to fold this up. Here's what's going to happen. Can you see it? All right, now you can leave it like this if you want to. Or what I did is I just used the pattern again, just this part right here. And I made a little bit for the top flap. So it's actually going to go on top. When I turn it in, and I hope I can do this without everything falling off. When I turn it in, this is what's going to happen. It's all going to be there. Now, is this going to be absolutely perfect? No, it's not going to be absolutely perfect. But once you get this made, I just kind of pressed down on it to make sure that everything was even. Once you get it made, there are little holes on the bottom. It depends on how far you push this up, how big your holes are. And if you have something sticking off on the bottom, you can just trim it up. It doesn't matter. So all you want to do is really just cover this so that when you're done with it, and this one I've done it too also, when you're done with it, it's folded up. So you can fold it either on the inside or you can fold it on the outside. These I've folded on the outside. Right here, if you can see the folds is right along this line here. Okay, once I've got it all glued together and it looks pretty good, you see the opening here? This is the bottom. Yeah. All I did was I took it, and put it towards you, and I pushed down on it. When I did that, that made the flat of the box. I don't know if you can see that. There. Now the box is flat on the bottom. So it's really simple, but make yourself a pattern so that you're not going crazy each and every time. And then all you can do is just put some flowers or whatever you care to put on it, decorate it up. You can do anything with these. You can use them for gift cards. There's just a ton of things that you can do. And they're really fun to make once you get the hang of it. And it won't take you long. And you'll find out that, oh, I have to trim here or I have to trim there. But that's okay. That's what it's all about. So, again, I suggest that using the small ones, because as you can see, this one's really big. And if you're going to a craft fair, You are going to have to put a lot of stuff in here if you're going to sell stuff in there, and probably isn't going to make you any money. So the smaller ones certainly fit the best for that. So I hope this has been helpful. I didn't spend a lot of time cutting out and pasting and all that kind of stuff. I know you guys know how to do that. So that's how we make the little containers or the little holders from the McDonald's boxes. Thanks for joining me. Leave a comment below. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see. Bye-bye.